The ready out.
Fresh halibut beginner. After a few days at sea, we dropped anchor in a little bay opposite Passage Island. It's the kind of place that we thought might be our last place before we got into Homer and other busy little communities. It was really special though, walking amongst the trees, watching sunset, having halibut by campfire.
Thought we'd show you the kind of clothing system we use on Teleport for when we go sailing. We start off with an icebreaker layer on the bottom, icebreaker merino wool. Just because it keeps you really warm, you can kind of layer it up, and it doesn't seem to smell too much either after a couple of weeks of wearing it, which is excellent. So depending on how cold it is, how many layers you have. So we've got icebreaker kind of top and bottom and socks.
And then we normally have a bit of extra, a thicker layer for a little bit of warmth.
Yeah, so maybe another layer there. Then next up we have our Henry Lloyd Gore-Tex ocean technology kind of wet weather gear. Pretty hardcore stuff. But so it's like a top and bottom.
We also pretty much always wear beanies as well. Some nice icebreaker beanies. So again, it's merino wool. It doesn't stink.
Very cozy.
When it's rainy or super cold, we'll put on our Henry Lloyd Gore-Tex jackets as well.
And they've got like these great cuffs so you can seal off the cuffs. On the inside it's like a waterproof rubber thing. And then you go one piece at a time. You end up being completely impervious to water.
And one other thing I love about these hoods is that they have a little clear plastic strip so you can really get good peripheral vision.
Yeah, good thick plastic zips, which is good. And if it's really hardcore weather, you can even fold this bit across. Like that. Pull on the hood.
And a lot of times when we're sailing up in the Arctic, we always used to use these dirty dog goggles as well. They'll kind of keep the wind and the spray and the rain off our faces.
Yeah, particularly if they're clear. We've got some clear ones as well, because you don't really want to be kind of your vision obscured at all. It's just to stop the spray and the rain and the cold air in your eyes. They're pretty cool. On our feet we wear our Henry Lloyd sea boots. So they're Gore-Tex as well. They're just big, strong, waterproof boots. Really, they're great. And the trick is you put them on, and then have your sea pants go on the outside of them, because then, if you had it on the inside, when you get a wave, it would just still run down inside your boot. So you put it over the top like that, like so, and now you're pretty well waterproof.
So that kind of keeps us cozy, warm and dry.
Yeah.
When it's super, super cold, we'll probably wear a down jacket as well, but most of the time we just layer up with icebreaker. It does a really good job.
When we turned up here in Seldovia, there was a lovely lady, Megan, she came down to the dock, and she's actually been following our blog for a couple of years. And then she said, oh, I've just been renting this place here with a kayak, and she said we should go out for a paddle out there and find some sea otters and maybe catch a salmon. Beautiful, eh? Just kayaked up to the head of this inlet thing that we've been in, and there's another river delta, a bit like Geographic Harbour, and heaps of salmon and stuff, but it seems like it's getting towards the end of the season and all the salmon are just dying or dead. They're like zombies just going along and bumping into things
One of the things that Seldovia is really known for is their chainsaw carving. So like this one, with otters kind of climbing up and halibut as steps, but it's awesome to think that this was made with a chainsaw. We've just been going for a walk this morning and it's amazing walking through all the trees. We've gone from seeing absolutely no trees for the last 2 months, and now all of a sudden we're surrounded by these giant towering pine trees. It is really beautiful, but so different to what we've been used to.
Well, we're off berry picking again, and this time we're going for blueberries. And a local guy just gave us one of these funny comb boxes. The idea of that is to get the blueberries really easily. Instead of just going and hand picking each one, you kind of just go up through all the leaves and all the berries fall off into the container. Pretty clever. But there's also heaps of salmon berries around here as well. A couple of mosquitoes as well. So good. Trouble is getting enough to put in the bag and not just eat them all. so many salmon here, it's incredible. Just gotta try and jag them because they're not. There we go, got one. Too easy. Look at them all jumping everywhere. This whole lagoon is filled with them. Might have just been beginner's luck. Haven't managed to catch another one since the first one. But so I was going to fill up this one, and then maybe if we try again, we'll get beginner's luck again. Turns out those things we were harvesting with the little box yesterday weren't actually blueberries. They were black currants. These are blueberries. They look almost the same, but they taste a whole lot better. This is our little Solara field tracker that we use to send back our position automatically every hour back to our webpage. And there's a little embedded Google Earth map there, and it updates every hour with this little line so everyone can see where we are. It's an excellent little device, and you can actually also send messages, like little text messages back and forth as well. Yeah, fantastic bit of gear.
For the last couple of days we've been in Jackaloff Bay, which is a beautiful little cove about 10 miles just out of Seldovia. We've been doing lots of berry picking, and there's a little oyster farm just across the river as well. We've gone and bought some fresh oysters off the oyster farmer. It's just been awesome, but today we'll head off and probably head to a place called Halibut Cove, where there's meant to be some nice walks, maybe up to a glacier even. That'll be cool. We just walked out of our boat this morning and look what we found, a goodie bag with some fresh lettuce and some frozen halibut and a little letter that says, "Be well, hearty sailors." So lovely, how friendly are the locals. Can't wait to have this.
And finally, on a really calm day, we got the courage to actually launch the drone while the boat was out at sea and get some really cool footage of the boat. It was kind of like our own helicopter film crew, but it was a bit scary because they're not waterproof and they don't float. But Jess did a really good job at catching. We've just done this really nice hike down to this glacier here. And you can see all the ice is carved off the front and drifted down into this side of the bay here. Really, really beautiful. But
yeah, it reminds us a lot of Greenland actually, and what it was like to kind of sail through all the different icebergs in Greenland. But
yeah, we miss Greenland. We might have to sail back there one day.
We did eventually arrive in Homer, Alaska, a huge town, which was kind of a bit intimidating because we've been so used to small towns for so long. But people were very generous, lending us cars so we could restock our boat. And it was a really beautiful town, but we just like the small towns a little bit better. And my parents have come all the way from Darwin, Australia, just to hang out on Teleplot. Welcome aboard. Thank you. What do you think?
It's excellent, isn't it? It's bigger than I expected, actually.
Oh.
Yeah. Very good. Done a good job. Very pleasing.
Yeah, it's been great. Yeah.
We've been on like salmon fishing and
berry picking.
Yeah, bonfires on the beach.
Yeah,
it's been really
nice.
Cool and great to show them Teleport and all we've done with it. Yeah, it's great for them to see it.
I think they liked it as well.
Yeah.
They were pleasantly surprised, which is good.
When we left Homer with Mum and Dad, we took them back to some of our favourite spots like Halibut Cove, Jackaloff Bay, and then back to Seldovia.
We're just on our final sail for the season, back into Seldovia where we're going to leave the boat for the winter.
Yeah, the sun's finally come out. It's been such a beautiful last few days.
Now we've just got to get into Seldovia, and then tonight on the high tide we get pulled out. Hopefully it'll be as easy as that. And then tomorrow work out how to support the boat properly and cover it in tarps because they get really bad snow here. And then leave the boat.
Next day we fly home, back to Australia, back to the normal grind of life.
That's the plan. See what happens.
In a mad hurry to pack up the boat, we thought we were going to get pulled out at 7 o'clock, but they brought it forward to 5 p.m. So now we're just trying to pack all our stuff because we leave tomorrow.
That was way too easy. Easiest pull-out we've had in years. He's just there with his remote control going doot, 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 doot. Wish we had that in Nome or Cambridge Bay. Got a little bit of weed on the hull now after a couple of years, but this antifoule's now like 4 years old. I guess we only have it in the water a couple of months a year, and it's pretty cold water. But still, it's a new way of doing it. So the boat's just resting on some good wooden beams at the bottom, but then instead of having side supports, just kind of blocks of polystyrene foam and kind of wedged in there while the boat was still up a little bit. Wedged it in good and tight and then lowered it and it went, and they're a little easy. So I think I better drill another hole back in the bottom of the keel here just because this area is still probably full of water. I want to let it drain out before it starts to freeze and thaw and do a lot of damage. It just sucks because it is so perfectly sealed. It didn't leak at all this year, but it's still full of water. So unfortunately, drill another hole in the boat. See all the water coming out of that now. So you've got to let all that come out, otherwise in winter when it freezes.
Yeah.
I went up the mast and took all our delicate wind instruments and things off just because I can imagine some giant bald eagle just coming in just going just breaking the whole thing. So now the mast is ready. Winterized the toilet already. Now we just need to do the engine. To winterize the engine, all I really need to do is turn the engine on, and then I've got this pipe going into where the cooling water normally is. Suck up some antifreeze until it comes out the back, and it's good. So I've just re-greased up the whole engine and then turned the flywheel till all the valves are kind of closed so there's no air getting in there and rusting stuff. And it's all done. I can't believe the engine didn't give us a single problem this entire season. It's getting better and better.
After getting Teleport out of the water, it was time to relax and celebrate what was our final evening in the wonderful town of Seldovia. We had a campfire with some lovely friends, Megan and Luke, our French sailing friend. Mum and Dad were there. We cooked salmon on the campfire. We had caviar, nice cheeses, any leftovers from Teleport. It was a very fitting way to finish what has been an amazing season.
Almost done, just got to wrap up this last little bit just to shed all the snow off and then we're good to go. We've got about another, I think it's about an hour and a half left. Good. So that's it, Teleport all wrapped up for another season, ready to spend the winter here in Seldovia. We'll go back home we're actually leaving in about half an hour. We always seem to cut these things pretty fine.
Yeah, but it's been an amazing season.
Yeah, I mean, compared to the Northwest Passage, we still had, amazing wildlife, bears and birds and seals and stuff.
Yeah, we stopped in at a lot more communities this time as well,
Yeah.
so we got to meet a lot more kind of friendly locals and
Yeah, it was much more of a friendly kind of trip. Still, we had plenty of fog and miserable
rain
weather
and-
and 60 knots in anchorages and that kind of stuff.
we
But
did a lot more motoring this year as well. We found we either had really strong winds going the wrong direction or no wind at all, so we kind of went with no wind when we could.
yeah, we certainly stopped in some beautiful places. And now that we've finally got to go on, real Alaska, there's pine trees and
Snow-capped mountains,
eagles
glaciers.
everywhere and stuff. Yeah, it finally feels like we've got to what we thought we might have all season. So we kind of can't wait now to get back next year and
Yeah.
sail on for a bit more.
So we should get back about mid-June sometime next year and
Yeah.
we'll sail down the inside passages. We've heard they're amazing.
But yeah, I reckon that was a pretty successful season. I had
Yeah,
fun. It was
definitely.
great. Thanks. Okay. Ridiculous. All I have is my extra tough gumboots. All my shoes are locked on the boat. Now we've got about 15 minutes. We'll fly home to Australia in gumboots. Got them.